Two young men were hunting far from their village one day, long ago, during a time of great hardship for their people. A great drought had driven the animals from their usual territories, but the people themselves seemed to have lost their way as well. They were weak and unhappy, yielding to confusion and anger because they had forgotten the good ways that had made them strong. The young hunters had not been successful and were discouraged, but they kept to the trail nonetheless. One morning, they saw a strange sight at the top of a hill, a floating white mist. They had not seen clouds for many months and were curious, but also afraid. With much caution they approached the floating mist. From out of the mist came a woman, a very beautiful young woman, and she was naked. The hunters were astonished, of course, and didn't know what to do. One of them immediately had impure thoughts and approached the young woman, intending to take full advantage of the situation. The second hunter tried to stop him, to no avail. Before the first hunter could reach the young woman, the mist rolled down and covered him, and in a while it rolled back. The other hunter was terrified to see that his companion was now nothing more than a skeleton. His flesh had been consumed by the mist, and snakes were crawling in and around the bones. Realizing that he was in the presence of something mysterious and powerful, the remaining hunter humbled himself before the young woman. She spoke, commending him for his humility, and gave him a task. He was to return immediately to his village, with instructions for his people to prepare a lodge for her. Then they were to wait for her to come. The young hunter did as he was told, convincing the people of his village that they should do as the young woman had asked. Soon after the lodge was prepared, the young woman appeared with a bundle in her arms. Inviting the elders into the lodge, she taught them 7 ceremonies they must perform faithfully. If they did as she instructed, they would once again become powerful and flourish. Opening her bundle, she revealed to them a sacred pipe. She taught them how to use the pipe, and then she departed. The people watched as she walked to the top of a hill, where a floating white mist had appeared. The young woman walked into the mist and emerged from the other side as a female white buffalo. This, of course, is a condensed version of the most revered of Lakota stories, the coming of the white buffalo calf maiden. She brought us not only the pipe, which we still have to this day, but also the basis for our spiritual beliefs and the ceremonies through which we carry them out. But there are 2 simple lessons in the story that are often overlooked. We did as the white buffalo calf maiden instructed us to do. We followed the ceremonies and lived in the good ways she taught us, and we became strong. In fact, we became the most powerful people on the plains, although I shudder to think what might have happened if both hunters had been brash and arrogant. But I think the white buffalo calf maiden appeared to these 2 particular young men precisely because one was arrogant and one was humble. The first lesson is that arrogance was destroyed. The white buffalo calf maiden had no use for it. And the mist that covered the arrogant hunter is life itself. The second lesson is that humility was used as an instrument for good.